Wow, you're kind of all in with the pink, huh? Greetings, fellow interloper. Taylor here. Today we're going to explore the milestone called Cleansed by Fire, which is all about exploring derelict freighters. I wanted to do this for a couple reasons. First, I've seen a lot of questions flying around about how best to snag this milestone. Secondly, it can be an effective way to knock out 2 milestones at once. And if you're after efficiency when you're going for your golden vector ship, this will be a video you'll want to watch until the end, because I found an awesome system to knock out this milestone, because there are virtually no pests to bother you while you're on the freighter collecting your loot. So stick around and I'll give you those portal glyphs at the end of the video. So while this will knock out the Cleansed by Fire milestone, if you're lucky, you can also snag the glass bead achievement as well. Some of you may have already watched my walkthrough on that one, where we used the Nautilus submarine and explored underwater ruins. There's a link up there if you're curious about that one. Well, as many of you have found out, it can be a grind battling the RNG gods and getting the option to make that offering and getting the milestone that way. So since this video's release, I'm seeing more and more people are actually getting the glass bead achievement by doing the Cleansed by Fire milestone, the one I'm about to show you. So it would definitely be a win-win situation if we could come across a horrific treasure to knock out both milestones, which are Phase 4 and Phase 5 milestones respectively. A word of caution though, I'm not 100% sure this is what HG has intended. When you look at the glass bead description, it does specifically say the goal is to acquire a horrific treasure from an underwater ruin. So just a word of warning that this could be somewhat exploitive and something that might be patched in a future explorations update. Although I think that's unlikely. Alright, let's dive into our derelict freighter gameplay. As an experiment, I decided to start a fresh expedition save and start from square one just to see how long it would take me to land on a freighter and knock out this challenge. With a few distractions, I was able to land on a derelict freighter in about 90 minutes or so, not too bad. So if you want to try a derelict freighter sooner than later, you definitely can. You'll just need to make some adjustments with your inventory. If you're curious about how I was able to make so much money early on and afford the broadcast receiver, and also feel it would make for a good video, let me know down in the comments, and I'll do one on that if I get enough interest. So one of the things that I'm looking for in a freighter is a limited amount of NPCs that will bother us while we loot. Full disclosure though, it did take me around 4 tries to find just the right freighter without all the bugs and other things that are going to mess with you. But if you do decide to chase down your own derelict freighter earlier on when you don't have a lot of protection, if you see these glowing sacks, do yourself a favor, reload your save and find another system. Alright, so finally on my 4th try, I was able to get an awesome freighter. Now I am going to run the video in double time to get through this a little quicker, so I'll just kind of walk you through the highlights here. So real quick, to touch on inventory, if you are trying to locate the freighter and it won't locate, then it will not enable if you've got a full inventory. Because obviously you're going to be picking stuff up and it's just doing you a favor by not letting you find it. I think it gives you like a blocked signal or something like that. So make sure that your inventory is all cleared out before you enter the freighter and just dump it in your starship. I know inventory is going to be a premium when you're first starting off, but do the best you can. So loot comes in 3 forms on freighters. You've got these crates that you see me picking up, and then you have these briefcases that are sitting on the shelves. A lot of times those will have tainted metal or credits. And the last is the upright lockers, the standing lockers. And don't forget about these heaters here. These really help if you don't have a lot of ion batteries. I personally, before I enter a freighter, if it's early on and I don't have a lot of protection, I'll literally buy out all the batteries at the space station. They're so cheap and they buy you a ton of time. But here you'll find something interesting. I got the glass bead. So this is kind of what I was talking about. This is random, okay guys? Don't expect that you're gonna get the glass bead as soon as you enter your freighter and look around. If it happens, awesome, and you have saved yourself a lot of time with the normal traditional way of doing the glass bead. Now I prefer, as I mentioned in my video, I like the underwater stuff. I think it's really cool. In fact, I'm looking forward to Subnautica Sub-Zero coming out on Xbox. I'll be covering that game actually when that happens here in a few weeks. I digress. So as you make your way through the freighter here, I would just raid everything to ensure that you get this milestone. I don't actually know how it works, if it triggers if you enter every section, or are you expected to find every single crate, locker, and briefcase. That I don't know for sure, but you're here, you've paid 5 million, so you might as well get all the stuff, right? And the reason I mentioned the thing about the inventory earlier is that I did not do that, so I'm telling you that's best practice. So now I'm having to do Sophie's choice with every single item here. As I pick stuff up, I have to decide what to delete from my inventory, and that's a huge pain, but it's probably going to happen even if I did empty out, because the inventory is so low right now, but not a huge deal. You definitely want to save all the tainted metal, though. The tainted metal, for the beginners out there, can be put in a refiner, either your personal refiner or a normal one, and it actually converts to nanites on a 1-to-2 ratio. So most freighter runs, between selling all the logs, and I'll get to that in a second, there's 2 main logs you want to make sure and get, and all the random tainted metal you can get from the lockers and stuff. It's all random, but I've seen totals anywhere from like 700 to over 1,000, so that's 2,000 nanites in a single run. That's on the high side, but you definitely want to save the tainted metal. So now I ran back to my starship and I'm trying to juggle my inventory, but I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this. You don't need to see my disorganization here and a little bit of my OCD with how I'm arranging things. So with derelict freighters, besides all the crates, the briefcases and the lockers here, besides all of that stuff, there are 3 huge things that you want to make sure and capitalize on. One is a green terminal, one is a red terminal, and one is the final terminal before you take the teleporter back to your ship. So in every freighter, there's going to be these tablets kind of scattered about. Usually one of the first few is going to have security credentials for you. That's imperative in order to unlock the captain's log. Because when you sell the captain's log back at where you bought the receiver from in the space station, you'll see that you'll get 270 tainted metal for it, which is, pretty nice. It's almost 600 nanites. And every freighter has their own storyline that you kind of learn from these tablets. If you want to just ignore all the tablets after you've got the security card, you're more than welcome to do that. You're not going to be losing out on anything. So as you've watched me go through this freighter, how many creatures have you seen? Yeah, 0. And these 2 guys are literally the only things you'll have to worry about, and they die extremely easy, even with a low-powered boltcaster. So this freighter is awesome. And it's also along the path of the rendezvous point, so you won't need to worry about losing your way if you warp to this system. Alright, so now we're coming up on our first terminal. It's the green terminal, which is going to give us the crew manifest. Once you have this manifest, you'll sell this back to the dude you bought the broadcast receiver from at the space station. So now we'll just make our way through the freighter. I'm just going to loot everything I see. Nothing magical. You get a lot of cool stuff, and you're probably going to have to make some choices on what to delete and what to keep if you don't have a lot of inventory space. And yeah, your protection does run out quickly, but if you stock up on ion batteries, it's not a big deal, honestly. You can do these early. And I have no idea why I keep looking at these logs. I really don't have any interest in reading them, but I see them and I want to pick them up. I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to video games. I will pick up everything. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and cut to our next little checkpoint. I promise you're not missing out on anything other than those creepy boots, but I'm just going through and looting everything and trying to stay alive with my ion batteries. Hey, so what did Spock find in Kirk's bathroom? The captain's log. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. So we've come across our next terminal, which is the red terminal. And this is going to give you the captain's log, not that kind of captain's log, hopefully. And this one, when you sell back, is going to give you 270 tainted metal. So this is definitely one you're going to want to get. So that's why it's important early on to look for those tablets to get that security card, because you can't access this terminal without one. All right, so we're at our final terminal, the engineering terminal. A lot of people just speed run freighters just to get to this terminal, because this is how you add storage to your freighter. And if you have your freighter maxed out, you can then fabricate technology upgrades, which come in the form of modules. And those give you a boost in mining or exploration or combat. It's all kind of random. But what you never want to do is extract nanites. If you extract nanites, it doesn't even give you what you would get if you sold the module. So it's kind of pointless, honestly. Hey, you know what's not pointless is being a subscriber to my channel. I mean, we just did Cleansed by Fire together. And I know I'm a new kid on the block when it comes to content creation, but hey, trust me when I say I've got so much more coming, and we're gonna have a ton of fun, so I hope you'll consider subscribing. Oh yeah, as promised, here are the glyphs for this freighter system. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you might even like these as well. This is Taylor with Whiskey Barrel Gaming, signing off.